God of War 3 Remastered for the PlayStation 4. I just had to let that title theme play out because, man, that title theme is so good. It's so epic, just sets the tone for this game. It is a phenomenal game, and I'm so glad that I finally got to play through it. I have never played it before until now, and it is so amazing. I definitely will be replaying it again in the future, not so far future, because it is just fantastic. So, God of War 3 starts off where God of War 2 ends. So you're on Gaia, and you're trying to take on Olympus to try and take down Zeus once and for all, because that is Kratos' goal, is to just kill Zeus, his father. So basically, right at the start of the game, I mean, you are thrown right into the action. You're on top of Gaia, and then you take on Poseidon. But then you end up getting sent down to Hades' underworld. So this is where you defeat Hades, and you get his claws of Hades, I believe they are called. So that's right at the start of the game, and it's definitely, I mean, you start right at the top of Olympus, and then get sent down, and then you got to climb all the way back up, and that is your entire adventure, basically, in a nutshell. Now, if you guys would have watched my last video, then you would have heard me say that the last God of War game I have played is the two PSP ones. Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. I'm not sure exactly which one it is the last one I played, but I have both of those for my PlayStation Portable, which I plan on doing a video in the future. But to get back into God of War after it's been so long, like, you just rip Helios' head off, and then you use his head to fly, like, stun enemies and blind them, and it's just, the gore in this game is next level. Like, they definitely did not hold back with anything, and that's the way it is throughout the whole God of War series, which, you know, I like. You know, it's supposed to be a brutal game, and, you know, we got that gore in there to really set the tone and make it feel that way, right? So God of War, I mean, Santa Monica Studios just did a phenomenal job with setting the tone in this game and making it feel like you are a warrior battling to make your way to your end goal and trying to kill everything in sight. Now, a lot of the boss fights and gods that you take on in this game are just, the boss fights are so good. Like the boss fight against Hades at the start, right after you get sent down to Hades' underworld, I mean, it's just phenomenal. And then this is the boss fight against Hercules, which is also amazing. And then the final boss fight against Zeus is incredible as well. There's so many different phases to that fight. It's definitely an intense final boss fight. So now I want to talk about the different weapons that you get as Kratos in this game. So you start off with the Blades of the Exile, which is, you know, they were an okay weapon. I used them a little bit, you know, at the start of the game. They're the only thing you really have, so I used them quite a bit at the start. I was switching between them and the Claws of Hades, but I found I really, really liked the Claws of Hades as I upgraded them more. It just became one of my favorites. And then in this boss fight, you steal Hercules' weapon, which is the Nemean Cestus, I believe is how you pronounce it, but I could be wrong. And they're just these giant, like, boxing gloves that Hercules uses, and they're so good. Especially in the final boss fight against Zeus, I used them at the first phase. It was just one of the go-to weapons that I found was the easiest to take down Zeus. And then lastly, you have the Nemesis Whip, which are lightning, like, whips or chains or whatever. Like, they're phenomenal as well. I used them a ton once I unlocked them. They were the last weapon that you got in the game. So once I unlocked them, I maxed them out, and I used them a bunch. I had really, really good success using them against Zeus, because that was kind of, I found that to be my go-to weapon against him, as well as these Nemean Cestus as well. Both of those were kind of my go-to weapons at the end of the game. I still use the Claws of Hades a little bit, but I found nothing quite beat those other two. They were definitely the ones I was bouncing between the most. Then you also have some utility type items, which are like the head of Helios that you can use to blind enemies and also light your way through caves. And then you have the Boots of Hermes, which allow you to run up walls, and they allow you to sprint super fast for a short little second. So both of those are more just utility. You can You know, I found the head of Helios wasn't bad once in a while. Like if I had a huge horde of enemies on me, then I just blind them all and it made them a little bit easier to take down. But for the most part, I mean, they're just utility items. You just use them as you need them. Now playing through this game, I was able to find all the items that would upgrade my health and my magic and everything. So that was good. You definitely want to have the head of Helios, you know, running around with that quite a bit just to find the secret chests, because you'll see some kind of dust flickering, and then you just flash the head of Helios and then the chest will appear. And there was a lot of those items I needed to get my health maxed out and my magic maxed out and everything, that I definitely needed to have my head of Helios out and just scouting around. And I definitely spent a lot of time hunting down those chests, because some of them weren't the easiest to find, but at least I was able to get them all, and then I could max out and get those trophies and also make it a little bit easier on me against the final battle here against Zeus. Now this final boss fight against Zeus is phenomenal. It is so epic, and it's got multiple stages to it, multiple phases, which I've always liked when there's a final boss that's not just one stage or one phase and then boom, you beat the game. This one has multiple phases to it, which I've always liked, and then it makes it feel like when you beat the game, you just actually achieved more than if you just had a single stage final boss fight. That's all I always felt anyways. So this first phase of this Zeus final boss fight is this: you're on this platform, it's, you know, 2D side scrolling kind of deal, and I found that the Nemesis Whip and then the Nemean Cestus were the two best weapons to use against Zeus here. So I started off with the Nemesis Whip. It seemed to just do phenomenal against him in the first part until you get to basically change up when he changes up his attacks and everything in the second part of this first phase. And so yeah, these Nemesis Whips are just, they're definitely my favorite weapon in this whole game. Once I got them, I was like, man, these are sweet. They're by far my favorite. So once you do enough damage to Zeus, then you get this little scene where you have to hit the button presses at the synchronized right time to basically go through this cutscene kind of deal. And then you go on to the second part of this first phase, and I found that the Nemean Cestus was by far the best weapon used during this second part of this first phase of the Zeus final boss fight. I would just keep using my magic attack kind of thing, just keep ground pounding and pushing Zeus back. It seemed to work really, really good against him here. So now the second phase of the Zeus fight, it takes place inside of Gaia, right next to her heart. So you got to keep attacking Zeus, and then you get little windows where you can attack Gaia's heart, and you just got to keep on trying to manage both, taking on Zeus, battling him while trying to do damage to her heart and take her down at the same time. But I just want to quickly mention, as you guys have probably seen throughout this entire video, and if you've played this game or any of the God of War games, you know just how amazing the whole backgrounds look and the whole atmosphere. Like, the backgrounds on every single area you go to in this game, it just looks incredible, and there's a lot of life to every single stage that you're on, or every single area that you go to. It's just, they did a very, very good job of creating a very good atmosphere and making everywhere feel, you know, as it should. Once you get to the end of the second phase here, you just keep pushing Zeus in, trying to take down Gaia and Zeus at the same time. You just keep pushing them in, and eventually you stab Zeus right up against Gaia's heart, and then you take them both down at the same time. But Zeus does come back again, but you end up still taking him down, so that's a bonus. I mean, that's your whole goal in this entire game, is just to kill Zeus and get him cleaned up finally once and for all, after all he's done to Kratos throughout the whole entire series. Now recently I've been playing the 2018 God of War, where Kratos is older and he's got his son Atreus with him, and it's a phenomenal game so far, but nothing seems to just beat the Greek mythology younger Kratos. This game just shows how badass Kratos really was. Like, he was so badass in the entire series, and then now he's just old and weathered, worn out, in the 2018 God of War. He's still a badass, but just, you can tell that he's weathered a little bit worn down after taking on so many gods over his entire lifetime. But yeah, this was my first time playing God of War 3, and I was blown away at how much I just absolutely loved the game. It was incredible, and I definitely see myself playing it again in the future. I just absolutely loved this game. Like, the story was phenomenal, and I haven't played a God of War game since the PSP with Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus, and I've never even played through the first or second game. I've played them a little bit at a friend's place growing up on his PlayStation 2, but I've never played the first or second game from start to finish either. So I might have to get PlayStation Plus Premium or something to get playing through those first two games, because I definitely want to play them from start to finish. And I'm just super excited now that I got a PlayStation to play through this entire series. Like I said, I'm working through the 2018 God of War. Absolutely loving it so far, and I can't wait to get through that game as well, see how it ends, and I'm just super excited to get into this series. And of course, as I play more of this series, I definitely plan on making more videos on every single game that I play through, so look forward to that in the future as well. Anyways, I'll let this whole ending play out here, so I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
You fool! What have you done? No! That was meant for me! They will not know what to do with it! You disappoint me, Spartan.